Okay, everyone, from that clickety clack sound, it's time for TV Oblivion, the podcast. I'm your host, Pete Costanes. This is episode 15, season one. Today's date is September 3rd, 2022. And thank you for joining me today. Here is today's lineup for this show. From the 1940s, I will talk about the TV anthology series, Studio One. From the 1950s, I will talk about the television sitcom The Life of Riley. From the 1960s would be the TV drama Mr. Novak. From the 1970s would be the television sitcom A Touch of Grace. Also from the 1980s, I will talk about Mr. T, the animated series. From the 1990s would be the TV soap opera Angel Falls. And from the 2000s, I will talk about the television sitcom Happy Family. So that's an interesting list. And I will touch base on those and talk about its beginnings and the cast of each show. But right now, we're going to go into a commercial break. And this program is brought to you by Chevrolet Chevette. And I remember this car very well. And this is a commercial from 1979. And the spokesman that's in the commercial, you might recognize his voice. And I will reveal who it is after the commercial is played. So sit back and enjoy, everybody. Thank you.
The more foreign car prices go up, the more it pays to put your money in a Chevy Chevette. It's like money in the bank. Here's what makes it such a value. This Chevette four-door hatchback has standard white striped tires, body side moldings, AM radio, sports steering wheel, console, reclining front bucket seats, and more. Yet Chevette is hundreds of dollars less than Toyota, Datsun, or VW Rabbit. Chevy Chevette. It's like money in the bank.
Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the commercial for Chevy Chevette. Sorry. The man who is speaking in the commercial is none other than Peter Tomarken. And you would know him as he was the TV game show host, Pressure Luck. I remember the show very well. He hosted the show for 3 years. That's how long the show ran, not rang. And it aired on CBS from 1983 to 1986. I didn't watch the show much when it originally aired because I was going to school at the time. I went to the DeVry Institute of Technology in Chicago, and I saw it on reruns or on break most of the time. But I did catch it once in a while. But then later on, as years went by, and then on the Game Show Network, I watched it religiously. I loved it with the whammy. He was a good guy. And unfortunately, he died in a plane crash. He was a pilot, and he was the plane crash, and he was killed along with his second wife. So that's a shame. They have a new Pressure Luck on ABC. With host Elizabeth Banks. She's very good. I like the show, but it's the difference between this show that's airing currently and then the one on CBS was the CBS version is a half-hour show. The new one is an hour-long show, and they have the same format, same whammies. Prizes are more. There's more money, but they have a bonus round. So it's cut up. So the first half hour is like the 2 rounds, like Elizabeth Banks will ask questions, just like Peter Tomarken did. And then on the second round, they have whoever wins the game goes to the bonus round, and they try to win $1 million. But I think it's about 3 or 4 rounds, something like that. I've been watching the show, so that's good. I like it. Okay, and as for the Chevy Chevette, let's see, the model years were from 1976 to 1987. It was a small car, and it was a subcompact car, and it had a hatchback, and After that started production right after the Chevrolet Vega. Do you remember that? And when I was in high school, I remember seeing this car, and I knew a girl from high school. She owned that car. It was a nice brown one, and it's kind of cool. Okay, now back to the show. Uh, I read off the lineup of today's episode, so we're going to get started. Okay, so from the late 1940s, I'm going to talk about Studio One, and that is the TV drama anthology show. It's not rerun much, so I will talk about its beginning. And so this show started on radio, on CBS Radio in 1947, and it premiered on television on November 7th, 1948, and ended on September 29th, 1958 on CBS. And it had a total of 467 episodes, and it ran for 10 seasons. Long time. And it was also known by other names, not just Studio One. It was also known as Studio One in Hollywood, Studio One Summer Theater, Westinghouse Studio One, and Westinghouse Summer Theater. A lot of identities. And it's sponsored by Westinghouse. I remember their washing and dryers, their refrigerators, and during the commercial breaks, there was Betty Furness, and she advertised Westinghouse appliances. And I remember the one blooper. I think it was this show was done live, and she tried to open the refrigerator door and she couldn't. But she was a charming lady. Yeah, very nice. And let's see. Also, there were some famous guest stars as well, and great shows. And let's see. So each episode, like the first season, ran for about 20 episodes. Then it increased in time, and the most from the 1950 to the 1951 season, it ran for 55 episodes. And there was one episode of 12 Angry Men that's based on I think the 1954-55 movie. And they had the TV production, but the second half of the production of the show, it was considered lost. They couldn't find that. They only had the first part, but they did some. They discovered a complete episode of the particular episode in Kinescope. That's how it was aired back then, and it was found in the home of late New York defense attorney and later and judge Samuel Leibowitz. He just found it. I don't know. Maybe they contacted him and say, "Hey, do you have a copy of this show?" And I go, "Yeah." And now it's at the I don't know if it's on YouTube or DVD, but it is at the museum. It's at the Paley Museum, I think in, I don't know, New York, or yeah, it's in New York or Los Angeles. So if you're in town and you happen to stop by, watch it, because the movie was great. It was wonderful. And an interesting thing about this show. I don't know if you remember the TV show Boston Legal that aired on ABC, and that starred William Shatner and James Spader. And they show clips of a particular episode where it was called The Defender, and this aired on. It was two parts. It was aired on February 25th, 1957. Second part aired on March 4th, and it featured William Shatner and his father, played by Ralph Bellamy. And then also they were defending a young man. He was accused of murder. He was played by Steve McQueen. And so they used the older show. They took the flashbacks of that show and aired it on that episode of Boston Legal. And it showed William Shatner's character in Boston Legal, Denny Crane. So he was trying his first case. I saw that. That was kind of cool. I liked that. Okay. Right now, I'm going to play the theme song of Studio One. It was also Westinghouse. So just sit back and enjoy. Okay, thank you, everyone. Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the theme song for Studio One. Before I start on the second show I will talk about, there's one little piece of trivia about this show. There was an episode called The Laugh Maker that aired on May 18th, 1953, and it starred Jackie Gleason and Art Carney, and from the Honeymooners. But this is a drama show, and Jackie Gleason played a comedian, and Art Carney played a magazine writer. He interviewed him, and this was a drama. This was like you expect Ralph Cramden and Ed Norton doing goofy stuff. No, this was a straight drama. I watched it the other day. I loved it. It was wonderful. But you can't help yourself. I thought they're going to do something goofy. Like Jackie Gleason will throw Norton out of the room. No, that didn't happen. They were playing different characters, and it was fascinating to watch. It really was. It was wonderful. And but if you're a Honeymooners fan, or Jackie Gleason, or a Carney fan, watch this episode. It's very entertaining. Okay. Next up, I will talk about the 1953 series, The Life of Riley. And this has an interesting history of this show. And let's see. So this premiered, let's see. Forgot about that. Yeah, it premiered on January 2nd, 1953. It stopped airing on May 23rd, 1958. It aired on NBC. And it featured William Bendix as Chester A. Riley. And the rest of the cast was Marjorie Reynolds, and she played Peg. Also, there was Wesley Morgan. He played Junior, of course. I forgot who played the daughter. I'll get to that in a second. And also in the cast was Gillis, and that was his name. The actor's name was Tom DeAndrea. So it wasn't, but I'll talk about the beginning of the show, and you'll understand, the characters. And that ran a long time, and it was very popular because William Bendix was the original actor. Excuse me, and it ran for 217 episodes, and then it was rerun later in syndication, and it was sponsored by Pabst Blue Ribbon beer, and then Gulf Oil, and also Liver Brothers. Yeah. That's interesting. So here's the beginning of the show. It started out as on radio, and it was originally aired on the Blue Network, which was turned into ABC because there was a red network and a blue network on radio. And aired for about a year and a half. Aired on the Blue Network, and then it moved over to NBC, and it aired from 1945 to 1951. So it was a very popular show on radio. And originally they wanted Groucho Marx to star in that, but he said no. I don't want it. So they asked William Bendix to do the radio and to do the radio show, and he was brilliant. And the character Chester A. Riley was a wing riveter, and he worked at a aircraft plant in California. And his famous catchphrase was, "What a revolting development this is." He said it on television and radio, and and it was funny. If you're a comic book fan, and if you remember the Fantastic Four that starred Benjamin Grimm, who played the Thing from the movies, he said that saying, yeah, he said that catchphrase. Another supporting character on the radio and television show was Digger Odell, but I don't think he was in with the TV series with Chester A. Riley. No, he was in the original, which I'll get into that in a second. And he also made a movie of that too in 1949 that starred William Bendix. Now, the first TV series was starred Jackie Gleason, and that aired from October 4th, 1949 to March 28th. It also aired on NBC. I had the show on DVD, and I watched it the first time. It was a very good show. You notice that Jackie Gleason was not very overweight. He was not, he's a little bit, but he looked very skinny back then compared to the Honeymooners. And they asked William Bendix to appear in the first TV show, but he had a contract dispute or something with a movie. So the studio would not let him to release him so he could star in the show, because I think he had obligation to a movie. And so Jackie Gleason stepped in, but he did star in one episode on the radio, because William Bendix, I think he was sick one day, and so he, still in his shoes. And his wife for Peg was Rosemary DeCamp. Paula Winslow played a wife, Peg, on the radio. Oh, and then we have Babs, and that was Gloria Winters. She was the actress. And Chester Jr. was Larry Rees. Okay. And Gillis was played by Sid Tomac. He was a sneaky guy. He really is. And, of course, John Brown played Digby Odell. He was the Undertaker, the famous Undertaker. And for some reason, it had 26 episodes, but I will go into more about that for show in a later podcast episode, because that's interesting. And then when William Bendix took over the role in 1953, okay, and let's see. Also, there was also Gillis's wife and Honeybee. And that was played by Gloria Blondell, and she was the sister of actress Joan Blondell. Interesting. And Digger Odell was not, like I said before, he was not in the second series. So they got another actor. There was a recurring neighbor. His name was Waldo Binney, and he was played by Sterling Holloway, who did the voice of Winnie the Pooh. It was on the radio. So right now, I'm going to play the theme song of The Life of Riley from 1953. So sit back and enjoy, everyone. Thank you.
William Bendix in The Life of Riley, with Marjorie Reynolds as Peg, Tom DeAndrea as Gillis, Lou Jean Sanders as Babs, Wesley Morgan as Junior.
Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the theme song for The Life of Riley. I failed to mention who played Babs in the second TV series with William Bendix was Eugene Sanders. She played her. She didn't appear much on television, and that she was famous with that role. She's still alive, as far as I know. Also, William Bendix, he had a long career, a lot of movies, a lot of television. I think so. He started his career like way in the 40s, and I remember he did a pilot in the 60s, and that was aired on the TV series Mr. Ed, and it was set in a resort, and it was funny in that one. And he passed away on December 14th, 1964, and that's a shame. So he was a wonderful actor. I liked him. He really was, and he was famous for his. Remember the 1944 movie Lifeboat, and he played Gus. And let's see, that was a good movie. I've seen it a couple times, and I should watch more movies of him. I really would. And also, his famous role was Babe Ruth on the Babe Ruth story that was made in 1948. I've seen the movie once. He was very good at that, and because he was because he was a bat boy for the New York Yankees. Interesting trivia, so he was a very versatile actor. Okay. Next up, from the 1960s, I'm going to talk about Mr. Novak. And this was, a lot of people remember this show, and I did too. And and this ran for 2 seasons, aired on NBC again. Ran for 66, had 60 episodes, and it starred James Franciscus. And as John Novak, he was a English teacher at Jefferson High School based in Los Angeles. And also starred Dean Jagger. And he was Principal Albert Vane. And so let's see. So it was a very popular show, but it only ran for 2 seasons. I don't know why. Maybe it was rating wise. So it first aired on September 24th, 1963, and ended on April 27th, 1965. And the show is on DVD. They only released the first season. I don't know what's going on with the second, because I hate that. Because that's the same situation as like The Flying Nun. They have 3 seasons. They released 2 seasons from Sony Pictures. The third one, no. We're waiting. And so so John Novak was an English teacher at this high school, and they dealt a lot of topics, and some were very very cutting edge themes like that, like racial discrimination, kids cheating on final exams. There was anti-Semitism, alcoholism, dropouts, drug abuse, and political extremists, just like today. That still exists like that. And I had a lot of, let's see, also a lot of guest stars. A lot of guest stars, and there were so many. So I'm not going to read all of them, but one that stood out was Tony Dow, and he started in the show right after Leave It to Beaver. He appeared in a few episodes, and I saw one episode on YouTube, I believe, and he was good. To me, he was Wally Cleaver. That's what he was, and it was funny. So I'm going to play the theme song right now. Before I do, there's one other thing. No, I will talk about that after I play the theme song. So here's the theme song for Mr. Novak. So sit back and enjoy. Thank you. Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the theme song for Mr. Novak. Uh, Dean Jagger did not stay through the entire show. He left the series after 44 episodes. I don't know why, and I couldn't find anything. And the new principal was played by Burgess Meredith, also known as the Penguin from the Batman series. wonderful actor. He played Martin Woodridge, and he was there for the last 17 episodes. Not much. So I don't know. Maybe that caused a. I hope not. I hope it didn't cause the show to be canceled. So there was also an assistant vice president, Gene Pagano, and that aired in the second season. It was played by actress Jean Bell, and she was a model, and she was there. She was there for for a few episodes as well. Now, James Franciscus had a very interesting career. His first major role was in the half-hour version of the TV series The Naked City, when I went to an hour show, but he was only in the first year. And then he started in a lot of shows: Twilight Zone, Alfred Hitchcock Presents, Combat. And then he started another series called Longstreet that aired from 1971 to 1972 on ABC, and it starred Bruce Lee. He was in the show. I would talk about that show someday. That'd be interesting. And then, unfortunately, he passed away on July 8th, 1991. He was age 57. So, yeah, but every time you watch a TV show, he was there. You would recognize, you would see the face. It was him. Just a lot of famous actors. So, Mr. Novak was not syndicated much. So it just went into TV oblivion. It was gone. Luckily, we have the DVD, and there's episodes on YouTube to watch. I hope they release a second season. I hope so. We can only hope. Okay, next up, from the 1970s, it's a TV sitcom, A Touch of Grace, that starred the wonderful actress Shirley Booth, and who is known as Hazel. So this was her second sitcom, and aired on ABC from January 20th to April 21st, 1973. He had a good cast. She played Grace Simpson. Her boyfriend was J. Patrick O'Malley. You would see him in a lot of TV shows. He was a funny man. He played Herbert Morrison. I remember on Maude. He was great in that. And also Warren Berlinger played Walter Bradley. And also Marion Mercer played Myra Bradley. And that played her daughter. And Warren Berlinger he was Milton Berle's nephew. And Marion Mercer, you remember her from Mary Hartman, also from the 1980 movie 9 to 5. She played Franklin Hart's wife, and she was good in that. Also, the TV sitcom Touch of Grace was based on a TV series called For the Love of Ada, and for Touch of Grace, it only ran for one season, 13 episodes. And I remember watching this show when it originally aired. How old was I? I was about 9 when it aired. And I remember it was aired on Wednesday nights, and it moved to Saturdays, and then it got canceled. And I love the show. It was wonderful. Shirley Booth was a delight. The show always has been, and it was great. And let's see. So the only I couldn't find the theme song of that show, so I found luckily there's a clip on YouTube. I downloaded it, and it's on the program. So I'm going to play that now, and you would hear Shirley Booth and J. Patrick O'Malley speaking. So that's the only thing I have. So sit back and enjoy. Thank you.
I didn't expect you so early today.
Well, I shouldn't bother you when you're working, but I'll only stay for a few minutes.
Oh, you stay as long as you want. I was about to quit anyway.
Okay, everyone, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed the clip. Shirley Booth, she's famous for Hazel. She had a very long career on stage. She did a few movies, of course, famous for Come Back Little Sheba. I love that movie. She did that on stage. I forgot who played her husband on stage. I think it's Cecil Kellaway, I think his name. But in the movie version was Burt Lancaster, and he was a good actor, but it seemed wrong. I don't know. That was bizarre, but he was great in the movie. Yeah, and she was as well. But Touch of Grace it was a very charming show, very engaging. I wish they put this on DVD. I would buy it in an instant, because I have Hazel on DVD. I watch it at times, and it's also on television, reruns. So that'd be great. That would be part of the Shirley Booth TV collection. So you never know. I doubt that any copies survived. So we'll see. All right. Next up, we're going to talk about Mr. T, the animated series. Oh boy. This one, I remember it. Excuse me. Mr. T starred, of course, Mr. T from the television series A-Team. This was a Saturday morning cartoon series, that aired from September 17, 1983, and ended October 19, 1985. Ran for 3 seasons, 30 episodes. And the plot was Mr. T was a coach to a gymnastics team. And the characters were Jeff, Woody, Robin, and Kim. And they travel around the world and involved in mysteries like Scooby-Doo. That's what it was. And the funny thing is, at the beginning of each episode, Mr. T himself appeared and explained what the episode's all about. And at the end of the episode, he narrated a moral lesson of that. So that was he was very dedicated on this show. Every time I look at him, I start laughing at him. I don't know why. He's a charming guy, and that he has a menacing look. I remember him where he played in Rocky III. He was excellent. As Clubber, I think that's his name was. I seen the movie in the theater a long time ago. I haven't seen it since, but he was wonderful. And so let's see. So I remember this very well. I didn't watch much of it, of the show, but I've seen this on the news. Sometimes they do a parody of the show, and he was interviewed on the show on the news one time about the cartoon series, and I remember he said he enjoyed it. He really did. Also, one of the voices on the cartoon was actor Phil Lamar, and he was famous for his role in the comedy series Mad TV. I remember that. It was funny in that. Okay, so right now I'm going to play the introduction of Mr. T, the cartoon series, and you would hear him speaking in the beginning. And the theme song's about over a minute, so but it's memorable. So sit back and enjoy. Thank you.
Guess the mystery on my show, the best show, Mr. T.
Okay, everyone, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed the theme song for Mr. T. That show went into reruns on U.S. Cartoon Express. Do you remember that? That was from the late 80s to the early 90s. They showed a lot of cartoons on that network. And then it aired on Boomerang. And I don't know if it's on yeah, it's on DVD. I think the first season, I believe, as far as I know. And Mr. T is a very interesting guy. He was born in Chicago, and his real name is Lawrence Turode. And he was famous for his role in the TV series A-Team as B.A. Baracus. Remember that? Also Clubber Lang and Rocky 3 in the 1982 movie. And he had his famous mohawk, and his famous catchphrase was, "I pity the fool." I love that. He's a wonderful guy. I like it. He was a bouncer back then. Man, so I've seen him on television lately. I don't think he does much acting now, but he's fabulous. He's wonderful, and he played it. He was in one movie that he played Mr. T. It was called DC Cab, and that was in 1983. But I saw the movie. It wasn't good, but I liked him. It was great. And so he's a very famous 80s figure. That's amazing. All right. Next up, from the 1990s, we have the TV soap opera Angel Falls, and this was short-lived. And I remember this show very well. So this aired on CBS. It first aired on August 26, 1993, excuse me. And it's September 30th, 1993. So it was very short. It was about a month, you know. It had only 6 episodes, but it was a good show. And this was based on the town of Angel Falls in Montana. I think it's fictional. It's not that. And the character's name, the character Ray Dawn Snow, was played by Chelsea Field, and she returns to town, and she meets up an old flame, and she brings her 16-year-old son. And based on the show, it was based on the relationships between 3 families: the Snows, the Larsons, and the Harrisons. And it had a great cast, what I just said before. So I'm going to read off the names so you would remember. And it was amazing, you know. And it starred Chelsea Field and Peggy Lipton from Mod Squad, and Grace Zabriskie. That's good because those 2 actresses appeared in Twin Peaks, the 1990 series. You know, you have Norma Jennings and Sarah Palmer together. Also, Cassidy Ray. She was from Models Inc. I remember her. Also, there was Kim Cattrall. She was in the show, you know, from Sex and the City. Also, Gene Simmons, famous Hollywood actress. Brian Kerwin, I remember him from Roseanne. Also, James Brolin, he was in the show, you know. And also, let's see who else. There was also Jeremy London. I think I remember him from Party of 5, you know, and he was in Seventh Heaven. He started in Mallrats. Remember that movie? Yeah. Okay, and it was a good show. I watched it, and I was disappointed when it ended. You had the soap opera fix, and you were waiting for the next week, you know, waiting for next week what's going to happen. And it ended with a cliffhanger, but I think it ended, ended the show like that. And it's been a while. The show's on YouTube, if you care to watch. So I'm going to play the theme song of Angel Falls right now. It's a beautiful theme song. It really is. And it reminds me, you know, like Twin Peaks, they show the scenery of the town, but this was spooky. It's just nice. So here's the theme song of Angel Falls. Okay, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the theme song for Angel Falls. Here's a little trivia about Chelsea Field, the actress that's she was like the main cast member of the show. She was a solid gold dancer, and then she went into uh, the first starring role was on Airwolf that starred Jan Michael Vincent and Ernest Borgnine, and then she played Tila in the film adaptation of Masters of the Universe. And then her next other TV role that she's well known on was NCIS New Orleans. Yeah, she's in that show. And her husband is Scott Bakula, actor Scott Bakula, and he's famous for his role in Quantum Leap, and they've been together for a long time. So she was a busy lady, very pretty lady. Let's see. Hopefully, I doubt the show Angel Falls will be released on DVD. I would buy it, but nah, I don't think so. So that's that. All right. Our last show I'm going to talk about is Happy Family. Oh boy, I remember this. And it was American sitcom, aired on NBC, and aired from September 29th, 2003 to April 20th, 2004. Had a good cast. Ran for one season, 22 episodes, and it starred John Larroquette and Christine Baranski. And the plot of the show was they were looking forward for some downtime, to be alone because all the kids left home and they're going to be empty nesters. But then things happen. Like their youngest son flunks out of community college and he returns home. And then their eldest son dumps his fiance about before the wedding. And then they had her daughter. And their daughter, Sarah, played by Melanie Paxson, has a successful career, but she can't keep a man. So she has a parrot. So, that's what's part of the plot because the parents, they want the kids out, but they won't leave because of circumstances like that. And John Larroquette and Christine Baranski played Peter and Nanny Brennan. That's their character's name. I watched the show, and I liked it. It was funny. It was very John Larroquette is the funniest man, one of the funniest men I like. I loved him in Night Court, and he had his own show, the John Larroquette Show. I remember that. That was a theme song sang by David Cassidy. And it was great, and so I'm going to play the theme song of Happy Family. When I come back, I'll give you a little trivia about Christine Baranski. Okay, so here is the theme song of Happy Family. Sit back and enjoy, everyone. Thank you. Okay, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed the theme song for Happy Family. Here's a little trivia about Christine Baranski. She was a stage actress. She did movies, not much. She appeared in soap operas, All My Children, Another World. She's best known as Marianne Thorpe on the CBS sitcom Sybil, which starred Sybil Shepherd. And that aired for 3 years, and she won an Emmy Award on the show for that role as Marianne Thorpe. There was friction between her and Sybil Shepherd. I don't know the whole story, but that's what I heard. And it, that was another time. And interesting enough, this is what I found out a while back. She starred on the Brady Bunch. And when I watched the Brady Bunch in the 70s and later on in the reruns, and I didn't know it was her, she starred in the famous episode where the girls had their summer party in the house, and the boys were playing tricks on them. And Marcia got in trouble because she drew a picture. Um, yeah, she drew a picture. She made fun of a teacher, and she got in trouble with the principal, played by E.G. Marshall, who starred with Robert Reed in The Defenders. And one of the girls that was in the summer party was Ruthie, and that was played by Christine Baranski. And she had dark hair, but when you look at her face, it was her. I never knew that. I never knew. And but so Marcia Brady drew the picture, and then Ruthie wrote the remark about the teacher, and that was a famous one. And that was a classic episode. I love that. Another famous actress was in the Brady Bunch, and one episode was Rita Wilson, Tom Hanks' wife, and her name was Pat, I believe, and she was trying out for a cheerleader with Marcia Brady. So that's pretty good. Okay, that's all for the show. I will do a recap right now of what I discussed. So here we go. From 1948, I talked about the TV drama anthology series Studio One. From 1953, the TV sitcom The Life of Riley. From 1963, the TV drama Mr. Novak. From 1973, the TV sitcom Touch of Grace, starring Shirley Booth. From the 1980s, the animated TV series Mr. T. Also from 1993, the short-lived television serial Angel Falls, and also in 2003, the TV sitcom Happy Family. Okay, that was fun. I will have another episode soon. This episode will be published, and whatever podcasts are available: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music. Also, will be published on my YouTube channel, TV Oblivion. It'll be there probably this afternoon, so you have to wait. It takes time to do all that, and I had a lot of fun. I really did. You can also listen to my other podcast, Fan Chicagoland Stories. That's my big one. That's also available from what I mentioned, wherever podcasts are available. I will do an episode of Van Chicagoland Stories tomorrow, probably, or Tuesday. We'll see. Okay, so this is Pete Costanis, your host of TV Oblivion, the podcast. Thank you for joining me. I enjoyed it. And right now, this is the ending theme song, the Pick and Pluck song. So that's fun, like that. So hope to hear from you soon, and enjoy the rest of the weekend. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.